Hello, everyone. My name is Craig Meister. I'm the manager of personalized learning and computer science at Republic Charter Schools. We are a high-performing charter school network in the South. We operate in Jackson, Mississippi, and in Nashville, Tennessee. There we go. And when I say high-performing, I said there are some results that we can be proud of. If you look at the right, we have 9th grade reading in 2016. We had our 9th graders come in on an average at a 10th grade reading level. We operate 3 different middle schools in Nashville. That's where this data comes from. And so we said we have a lot to be proud of, right? But then we looked at our results in 2015, particularly from 5th grade ELA, and we said, okay, well, we're outperforming some of the district in Nashville, but 35% of our students still are not reading on level, or they're not considered proficient. And as such, we had to ask ourselves the question, okay, so like, what are some of our teachers who really are making gains? What are they doing, and how can we replicate that in a systematic way? And so I want to tell you guys a story about 2 amazing women. The woman on the right is Mehreen Butt. She's actually in the audience today. She is a computer science teacher in 10th grade at Republic High School. That's Sarah on the left. It's one of our students in the 10th grade. Sarah was ambivalent at best about computer science and kind of negative on the worst days. Mehreen did what a lot of great teachers do and said, hey, I have a differentiated study session during lunch. Why don't you come there and I can help you out? It was actually a bunch of girls who were doing a lot of ed tech, really cool innovations. She came. She's now one of the highest performing students in CS in the 10th grade. It's really amazing to see these types of relationships. If you're an educator, you've seen these relationships work all day long. And amazingly, it was through differentiation that happened and amazing relationship building. So kind of the problem that we were really looking to understand is how do we create a system that gives relationships room to breathe, right? And makes differentiation actually systematic. And so as we started doing some research there, we came across Bloom's 2 sigma problem, which says that like if you give students a bunch of lecture, they'll perform at a normal bell curve. But if you give them individual tutoring, right? Personalized learning, put them in differentiated pace, space, content, feedback, they'll perform 2 standard deviations higher than the person who just gets lectured at, right? And even better than somebody who's focused on mastery learning. And so in 2017, we had an amazing opportunity to work with the Carnegie Foundation to understand how can we systematize what personalized learning is in order to close the gap for our students. We figured out that as we explored some more, we didn't necessarily just want gamified instruction or just an adaptive program, but we actually wanted to focus on this relationship building and differentiation as a system for our schools. And so coming up with what this relationship building and differentiation looked like, we came up with 4 pillars of personalized learning that we are coaching teachers around, designing our curriculum around, and ultimately hoping to build a school and a network around. And it's content choice, space, differentiated pace, and feedback. The idea of differentiated content choice really focuses from our curriculum designers and from our instructional standpoint on students having a choice every single day when they come into the classroom, right? That they have skill-aligned practice, that they can choose different themes to work on from. I'm a curriculum designer by trade, and that's what I do right now, as well as instructional coaching. And so I sit down with teachers so that they can help students like Sarah choose what they might want to do in order to practice any given skill that they know that they need to work on for their content area. Then I work with them, as you've seen many examples of differentiated space. We work with our teachers on that as an explicit performance metric, right, for their classrooms and saying, here are some great ideas, right, that a lot of you guys have already, many of you have already shown, and how can you systematize that into a way where you're differentiating space for students based on data that you're seeing from them. And then with the pace, we said students have to be able to pace at their own progress in order to achieve mastery. And so when it comes to differentiated pace, we coach teachers around and design curriculum around curriculum that can be paced varied in a varied way, and so that students can not only visualize and set goals around that pace, but teachers can feel and see the power that comes when a student can achieve at their own pace. And then finally, in order to create this personalized learning environment and a tutoring effect that we see from Bloom's Two Sigma problem, is understanding feedback and understanding how that personalized feedback can really drive students towards more mastery. Ultimately, in order to move towards a school of personalized learning and not just coaching teachers around these principles of personalized learning, we knew that we had to focus on teacher development, a platform, a technological platform from which they can mitigate a lot of the grunt work that goes behind doing all of this differentiation, and a curriculum that is differentiated and skill aligned. And so with teacher development, we provide them one-on-one coaching and really focus on having cohorts of teachers implement personalized learning in a systematic way so that they can then become mentors to the next cohort of personalized learning teachers. Next, we make sure that the platform that we have created in-house really aligns to the 4 pillars of personalized learning, and again, takes away a lot of the grunt work from teachers of things like data visualizations, storing all of the curriculum that they co-create with us at the network, and then ultimately helping students access and visualize their projects while they're setting goals. And then ultimately, people like Meister work together with me on personalizing the curriculum so that it is not only skill aligned, but varies thematically in order to give students those choices. Ultimately, what we want to get at is more opportunities like Meister and with Sarah, reaching out to students like Sarah to help close those gaps. Many of us as educators have seen this happen time and time again. What we're trying to do is systematize that as a school through these initiatives and ultimately become a network of personalized learning also. Thank you very much.